Yamunatira vanachari. Yamunatira vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari. Yasoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana. Yasoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter, we're on text 26. You guys have the verse on the board? Okay, great. Kachit Prano Purusho Svanyapya Padmanuvarita Kilavarimo Asata Uruvya Kushalam Vidya Krita Krishna Kushulam Surya Gehi Kachit Purana Purusho Swayanbhaya Padmana Vriheha Kilavartino Asatarvya Kushalam Vidaya Krita Krishnano Kushalam Saragehi Kachit Parano Purusho Svayambhya Padma Nuvadreha Kilavartinano Asatirvya Kushalam Vidaya Krita Shanano Kushalam Saryagehi Kachit Parano Purusho Swayampya Padma Nuvari Ha Kilavat Vanano Asaturvya Kushalam Vidhaya Krita Krishnano Kushalam Saragehi
Chitparano Purusho Svanabhya
Kachit Parano Purusho Swayambhya
Padmanuvritye Hakilavatirno
Padma Viraheha Kilavatano
Sata Uvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Asaturvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Takshano Kushe Takshano Kushalam Shurage
Krita Krishnano Kushalam Saragehi
Kachit Purano Purusho Svanabhya
Kachit Parano Purusho Swayambhya
Padmanuvritye Hakilavatirno
Padma Nivritheha Kilavatamo
Satorvya Kushalam Vidaya
Asaturvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Vitakshano Kushalam Shuragehe
Krita Krishnano Kushalam Saragehi
Kachit Purano Purusho Svanabhya
Kachit Parano Purusho Swayambhya
Padmanuvritye Hakilavatirno
Padma Nivritha Kilavatamo
Asata Urvya Kushalam Vidaya
Asatarudvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Kritakshano Kushalam Shuragehe
Krita Krishna no Kushalam Sarakehi
Kachit Purano Purusho Svavambhya
Gachit Parano Purusho Swayambhya
Padma Nivreteha Kilavitirno
Padma Nivritheha Kilavatamo
Asad Urvya Kushalam Videha
Asatirvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Krita Shano Kushalam Siragehi
Krita Shana no Kushalam Saragehi
Kachit Purano Purusho Svanabhya
Gachit Parano Purusho Swayambhya
Padmanuvritye Hakilavatirno
Padma Nirita Kilatibrano
Sata Urvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Asatirvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Krita Shano Kushalam Shulage
Krita no Kushalam Saragehi
Kachit Purano Purusho Svanabhya
Gachit Parano Purusho Swayambhya
Padmanuvrityeha Kilavatirno
Padma Nirita Kilatibrano
Asata Urvya Kushalam Vidaya
Asatirvya Kushalam Vidhaya
Krita Krishna Kushalam Shuragehe
Krita Krishano Kushalam Saragehi. So everyone chant, we'll do word by word synonyms. Kachit, weather. Purano, the original. Purusho, personalities of Godhead. Krishna and Balaram. Svanyanbhya, Brahma. Padma Anuvritya, by the request of the one who is born from the lotus. Iha, here. Kila, certainly. Avitirno, incarnated. Asate, are. Urvya, in the world. Kushalam, well-being. Vidhaya, for doing so. Kritashnano, the elevators of everyone's prosperity. Kushalam, all well. Surya Gehi, in the house of Shurasena. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Please tell me whether the original personalities of Godhead, who incarnated themselves at the request of Brahma, who was born out of the lotus flower from the Lord, and who have increased the prosperity of the world by elevating everyone, are doing well in the house of Surasena. Lord Krishna and Balaram are not two different personalities of Godhead. God is one without a second, but he expands himself in many forms without their being separate from one another. They are all plenary expansions. The immediate expansion of Lord Krishna is Baladev, and Brahma, born from the lotus flower from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, is an expansion of Baladev. This indicates that Krishna and Baladev are not subjected to the regulations of the universe. On the contrary, the whole universe is under their subjugation. They appeared at the request of Brahma to liberate the burden of the world, and they relieved the world by many superhuman activities so that everyone become happy and prosperous. Without the grace of the Lord, no one can become happy and prosperous. Because the happiness of the family of the Lord's devotees depends on the happiness of the Lord, Vidura first of all inquired about the well-being of the Lord. So this is real interesting here. So the lectures that I listened to on this verse are they really discussed a lot of the relationships with Krishna and exactly the relationship between Krishna and Baladev, just as we're speaking here. Brahma is born from the lotus flower of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who's actually an incarnation of Baladev. So the way that works is there's two Chatur Vyuhas, both of the same name, right? And from Krishna's would be a Narayan, and then Baladev would be Sankarshan, right? That's why like Sheshanaga a lot of times is referred to as Sankarshan, sometimes Baladev, Balaram, he's referred to as Sankarshan, or even Lord Nityananda, right? And then from Sankarshan comes Pradyumna and Aniruddha, like that. So what I wanted to get into is the specific relationships about the personalities that we're speaking about, and then like we can discuss, the forms of the personality of Godhead, like that. So who Suryasena is in this verse? This is Krishna's grandfather. This is the father of Vasudeva. So that's what Suryasena. Basically, I looked these up pretty extensively, and then now, Uddhava is Krishna's cousin. He was born from the brother of Vasudeva. So here we're speaking, Vidura's talking. He's the incarnation of Yamaraj. He's the brother of Pandu and Dhritarashtra, the uncle of the Pandavas and the Kurus. Now, something I mentioned last week at lunchtime is that the verse that we spoke about last week, I think it was like the day after I gave class or something, Wednesday or Thursday. The verse was referring to Emperor Yudhisthira. So what had happened was when Vidura left the palace, he hung up his bow on the door and left without any regrets, and traveled to all the holy places of pilgrimage for all the unlimited, the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Right. So so much time had already passed. The Battle of Kurukshetra, I thought it was 18 days, but I was listening to Prabhupada lecture, and Prabhupada was stating it was a little bit more than that, like 27 days or 26 days. But at any rate, at that particular point from the verse from last week, the Mahabharat War of Kurukshetra had already taken place. The Kurus had already left the planet, and Emperor Yudhisthira, Maharaj Yudhisthira, has been coordinated as the emperor. And so now, as Vidura is inquiring from Pradyumna, so how are Krishna and Balaram, and how's the Yadus? So in the next verses, we're going to find out that basically Krishna has already left the planet. So in first canto Srimad Bhagavatam, that's what they were recapping of first canto Srimad Bhagavatam in the lectures that I listened to. So there's Krishna's Arjun's lament that Krishna has left the planet, and Arjun's lamenting that he's lost his best friend, you know, who's so many. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita to him, and so many past times Krishna traveled with them in exile in the forest and saved them from so many dangers. Right, so Arjun's recapping and recounting all those activities. Maharaj Yudhisthira, he's experiencing the bad omens of the age of Kali coming. What was it? A dog breathing fire and things like that. A jackal spitting fire, yeah. The what? Yeah, the dogs were barking at him. Meteors, right. We have like all these kind of omens like practically almost every day now, you know, like that. And so and then Vidura returns back from pilgrimage where he is now, and he preaches to Dhritarashtra, Mother Gandhari. And they also said that Sanjaya was with them, and he mentions that you're living in the house of your nephew, you know, whom you try to eradicate so many different ways, and you know, this is this isn't befitting a great soul such as yourself, and one should go to the forest and continue their bhakti yoga, their devotional service. At the last stages of their life, you shouldn't remain attached and remain in householder life, you know, in your last stages of life. So they had also gone to the forest, and then so this is what brings us where we are now. We wanted to know that the question was, what was it that Vidura had heard from Maitreya? So in the next verse is coming up to Vidura is going to be meeting with Maitreya. So what else was there? So who Vasudeva is now, the father of Krishna, and Rohini, he's the husband of Rohini also, and Devaki. Rohini was under the care of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. So she's the mother of Balaram, and Devaki is the mother of Krishna, and Krishna is transferred to Vrindavan under the care of Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj. So Ugrasena is the father of Vasudeva, and Suryasena, right? Suryasena is the father of Vasudeva. Ugrasena is the father of Kamsa and Devaki, like that. So this kind of brings up this. Yeah, Kamsa and Devaki, yeah, they're brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's Ugrasena, and Suryasena is the father of Vasudeva. Like that. So this kind of brings us up to date. This who are we speaking about? Vidura here, he's speaking, he's inquiring from Pradyumna. And I mentioned this, that Pradyumna was an intimate associate of Lord Krishna, and he had features similar to Krishna, being Krishna's cousin. And he was approaching Vrindavan, and all the gopis, they thought it was Krishna was returning, you know, from a distance. And Pradyumna came with a letter from Krishna to read to the gopis. And Radharani goes into ecstasy, and she's speaking to a bumblebee like that. So it was pretty intense. And so this is who Pradyumna is. And now, what they're speaking about is that the uh, the forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are one, although appears to be many, and the different pastimes. And they were speaking about like the conjugal love, right? So the conjugal love of the gopis, and they're discussing how in Ram Lila and the Ramayana, there were some great sages, and they desired to associate with Lord Ramchandra in conjugal love. And so Ramchandra, he was speaking, he says, well, this isn't proper. I can't engage in this incarnation, but you'll have the chance to engage in service with me in the form of Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga in conjugal love. So they got to also take birth as gopis also. So they're talking about this, how the men, they can also be attracted to Krishna, but it isn't like, same sex sort of thing. We're Prakriti, we're Krishna's energy as a spiritual soul, as Jiva Atma, and that's our actual natural position. But but within some specific boundaries and categories that in the future, we may be able to engage in this devotional service if we have this desire. But there's 5 relationships. So conjugal love is considered to be the highest. So that's really nice. There's romance. I remember the smell of my mother's makeup in the bathroom. You had like the smell of powder, and you had the smell of lipstick, and so just kind of transfer that kind of attraction or that kind of quality to Krishna, and open your heart for Krishna, when you're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, kind of like flirting with your lips, Rama and Krishna, like that, that specific quality. So then there's friendship. So the Cowher boys, they're engaged with Krishna in friendship, and they just can't wait for the next day again to go back out into the forest with the cows and the calves and engage in pastimes with Krishna again some more. And they're just thinking about that all night long and dreaming about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes at night. And Krishna kills a demon after lunch. He just kind of nonchalantly grabs the ass demons by the hind legs. Oh yeah, there we go, right there. We got who's operating the oh, well, that's great. Did he know already I was going to talk about this? Yeah, it's Krishna's arrangement. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, just nonchalantly, just kind of, he's got that. Balaram's kind of got that, like, that neutral kind of look. Krishna looks a bit fierce, like, hey, check this out. Here we go. This is where it's at. He's got that whoa kind of look going. Yeah. And he just kind of wing, throws them up in there. Oh yeah, and then like it knocked down the trees, and it was a tumultuous sound and made the ground shake and made more trees fall down like that. And so then there's parental affection, and so like even the gopas, the men, in the men who lived in Vrindavan, and then their wives, and then they had their children. But when Krishna expanded himself as the Cowher boys and calves from Brahma stole them, they had more affectionate towards their own sons, and the cows had more affectionate to their calves. And that was for a whole year, right? So then it was just a moment in Brahma's time, but it was a whole year here. And oh yeah, the cows are even just, their milk bags are just flowing with milk, just even in the pasturing grounds, just thinking of their calves and like that. And the men, they smell the head, so they affectionately gave their sons a hug and smelled their heads, and Oh yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, well, you know what was happening is that oh yeah, that was really nice that you had discussed this from Garga Sami to was this yesterday or the day before? That they're going, well, and we discussed this too when we were reading 10th chapter of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, is that there's a reason why Nanda Maharaj did not invite all the residents of Vrindavan to Krishna's name giving ceremony. And that's considered to be like horrible. I mean, because this is a very, very big, auspicious occasion that, you know, everyone would want to be there. Is considered an insult that you're not invited. But there's a reason for this, is that when they're Nanda Maharaj and the leading coward men had a meeting, and they're discussing how so many different demons are coming into the track. I believe is what they did. They moved from Vrindavan to Taliban. So they're saying that maybe for Krishna's safety, we should move our village, right? So they're just in the cart, just in the previous presentation, previous slide. Jai Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. So yeah, these were the happy days in Vrindavan. And then there's servitude. You know, like the Brahmanas, they're worshiping Krishna, you know, as the Supreme Lord in servitude. And then there's the neutrality, to be Krishna's flute. The gopis are thinking about this. Oh, how great fortune it is. Yeah, there's the name ceremony there. Yeah. So Gargacharya, right? He's the spiritual master who did Krishna's chart, and he was explaining in previous yugas, this child appeared as white and green and red, right? So Lord Varaha, Lord Ramchandra. Who is white? Is that Matcha by any chance, the fish incarnation, or Hamsa? Yeah, possible. Oh, the swan, like a swan. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I was listening to a Prabhupada lecture yesterday. I wrote it down. I looked it up. I wanted to keep a record of it. Prabhupada was talking about Krishna's lotus feet. So the symbols, it includes a chariot, right? So it's goad for controlling elephants, chakra, lightning bolt, lotus flower. There's chariot, like that. So that's another really good quality too. It's like, oh yeah, chariot. Yeah. So that's kind of really cool. That's nice. Others are white. Umbrella. Yeah. Prabhupada mentioned that too. Yeah. An umbrella. Right. Chariot and an umbrella. Right. Yeah. Because I keep thinking of lightning bolt, goad for controlling elephant, lotus flower, chakra. Yeah, so they were discussing how the chakras, they're on top of all of the temples everywhere who are going to be benefited by seeing the chakra, and they can know and tell, oh, that's a temple of Vishnu by seeing the chakra even from far away. But they're even blessed by this chakra. Somebody said there was somebody a form of Narayan in these temples that this was Radha Damodar was talking about that. He's only holding one symbol. He's holding the chakra, right? And so yeah, what they're discussing here is about the different incarnations of the personality of Godhead and specific relationships. Bhoktaram Jagatapasham Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So he says the Supreme Lord is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, right? Hridayeshi is that one who knows me to be what is it? The Lord of all planets and demigods, the benefactor. right? All planets and demigods. They alone can attain peace, shanti. So Prabhupada was saying this. So if you want this shanti, everybody wants peace, shanti. But here's the formula for peace. You can't find or have peace any other way. You'll always be disturbed. You'll be disturbed by your mind, by so many different desires, right? You'll be disturbed by so many different adidaivic kleshas that are due to the sinful activity. But that was another thing that Maharaj was speaking about. That also, Prabhupada was mentioning this. On the verse where there was like so many flags, I believe that was the verse that was referring to Emperor Yudhisthira. So there are so many flags, right? In the United Nations, Prabhupada was saying they're adding new flags constantly, but it's not doing any good. There's still the disunited nations. Right, they still they're still debating, and they still can't come to any actual real world peace. They're still at war. There's always some war somewhere, right, between some nations. What to do with third world nations? What to do with non-communist nations? NATO. What are the communist nations doing? Right. So this sort of thing is going on, and so that's the thing that kept coming to mind on that. So many different flags, but they actually have a one world government. Oh yeah, that was the thing when I was growing up during the Cold War. A one world government was totally feared because it would be a communist one world government, where socialism and communism basically in Russia was actually armed with a militia, where if, you didn't obey, then you just ended up disappeared, and your family would just take your pictures down as if you never even existed, not even mention you, otherwise, you'd be going to Siberian salt mines too, like that, so there's always this thing of fear. I heard somebody that was in China was telling me that the people in China are expecting to get arrested and go to prison for practicing a religion that's not authorized by the government. The government, I believe, is authorizing and forcing everyone to be a Buddhist of the imperial sun. There's like 3,000 Buddhist sects. There's Theravada Buddhism that's practiced in Sri Lanka. There's a lot of different types of Buddhism. And so, by from what I understand, it's illegal to practice Krishna consciousness in China. So like that. And if they're caught, then they'll go to prison. But someone was telling me that they're expecting this, So we could be fortunate enough that Prabhupada was stating that if Krishna consciousness would take hold, it would be in the United States, and then it can spread to the rest of the world like that. So by our preaching efforts, so we have devotees in Russia and the Ukraine, and the Czech Republic, and in China, and Japan, and Africa, and Denmark. There's a temple in Denmark, or Holland, close to Amsterdam. Yeah, so basically they've was it lessened they made it legal in China to practice Krishna consciousness. Oh, when I was in India, when they were serving me prasadam in the Prabhupada program, the devotee there, he's from India, but his wife, they live in China. She's from China. They live in China, and they told me that they have to practice Krishna consciousness in secret because it's illegal. That she can go to prison. That wasn't. No, that was when I was there in 2011. Yeah, so Yeah, so that was because I know that Ramaswar was GBC of Japan, I think Japan and China, and they have centers. I actually have centers, but how they're keeping it under the cuff. I don't know. I'll have to kind of look that up, kind of find out what the relationship is. How much how much in the open they can actually chant. If they can go out on kirtan, Hare Nam, and distribute books and things like that, that would be great. In Russia, Prabhupada initiated someone in Russia when he was there, but he had to keep it. When Prabhupada was going through customs in Russia, they came across his Bhagavad Gita, so they inspected it. Prabhupada's thinking, "Oh boy, here we go. I'm going to get arrested. In a foreign country. I'm going to be in a foreign jail in Russia." So they came back and said, "No, there's nothing threatening here." But what was it? It was someone Prabhupada told who traveled with Prabhupada to Russia. Was that Shruti Kirti or someone? But anyways, Prabhupada's secretary was approached by someone who said he wanted to learn about Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said it was a trap. Don't go. Like that. But Prabhupada did initiate someone, but they had to keep it in secrecy. So that was the whole reason why they didn't invite the residents of Vrindavan to Krishna's name giving ceremony by Gargacharya, because they didn't want Kamsa to know, because he would send their armies to come to arrest them or come to kill Krishna. But so many different demons were scurrying the countryside, killing babies, and like the whirlwind demon, Putna. She was a child killer. She was a baby killer. That was her profession as a witch, her specialty. So, is there any questions or comments or subject for discussion? You have a question? Isn't it called let's see, name of the name giving ceremony? Yeah, it has a certain name. You know what it is? Abhishek. Well, that's the bathing ceremony. It's called the what? Anipura is the name giving ceremony. Anipura. Yeah, so he's stating how in previous ages, because this child, he was, appeared in the various colors and different ages in the yugas, like that. And it's so they were, praying to Lord Narayan, for Krishna's safety, and praying to Lord Narayan, thanking Lord Narayan that Krishna wasn't hurt, and they waved their yak tail fans and Krishna for protection and different things like that, and Krishna's just, nonchalantly playing on the body of Putna witch, who's 12 feet long. 12 miles long. Like that. He's like, wow, what happened? And so that's what they're talking about, how the gopis, this is like really, really intense. And one night was actually stretched to the length of a Muhurta, a day of Brahma, a whole Brahma Muhurta, right? A whole day of Brahma. And Krishna had disappeared from their sight at one point. And then Krishna had appeared as four-armed form of Narayan. And the gopis are going, "Oh, Lord Narayan, can you please tell us, where did Krishna go? We're seeking Krishna. Where is Krishna?" Like that. So they're talking about this. They said, now, before you go to Narayan, Narayan's your worshipful deity. That's who you've known all your life. And they're worshiping four-armed form of Narayan. They don't even know that Krishna is God, nor do they even care that Krishna is God. They just love Krishna because Krishna is Krishna. Like that, unmotivated, hoita kia prutihita. like that. So I said, make sure that your position is, that you're situated correctly, before you're going to go to Narayan and say, well, we're looking for Krishna, right? Something else other than yourself, like that. But this was in the proper light and spirit, like that, even though it was, they didn't know, neither did they care. So, before you start, getting on Krishna's shoulders, or giving the dust of your lotus feet to Krishna for his headache, you yourself, you should make sure that you're properly situated in devotional service, like that. So that's our positions, in practice, like that, in practice. And we can pray that we can experience love of Godhead and experience new and newer realizations, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books and listening to Prabhupada's lectures and the discourses amongst ourselves as devotees, not amongst impersonalists or non-devotees, because that will have no effect. In fact, it may have a dangerous effect. Lord Narayan? Oh, like before you start getting on Krishna's shoulders, right? Or yelling, or that they're worshiping Lord Narayan and praying to Lord Narayan for Krishna's safety and praying to Lord Narayan, thanking Lord Narayan that Krishna wasn't hurt. Oh yeah, before you start climbing on Krishna's head or offering the dust of your feet for Krishna's headache. Who are the cowherd boys? The cowherd boys. You had to get on Krishna's shoulders. And Krishna gets on their shoulders, and then the cowherd boy, they get on his shoulders. Krishna is playing with them as an equal. So before you start bossing Krishna around as an equal, or starting a conjugal love affair, a lover's quarrel, make sure that you're properly situated in the right platform. Yeah. Okay. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam class ki jai.